What's going on, everybody? It's your boy BJ, the DJ. You are now tuned into the rewrap. This is episode 23. Before we get started, if you haven't already, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. The rewrap's available on all streaming platforms. And if you haven't tapped in with them boys at Over the Top with Chad and Tony, please make sure you do so. You can catch me on there as a recurring guest talking about movies and nostalgic wrestling. Episode 23. Let's get to it. Lots changed since we last dropped an episode. 22, we talked about Mount Rushmore of white rappers and also what I would consider to be the Nashville Mount Rushmore of rappers, and a lot of good feedback. I think everyone was pretty consistent in their takes on it. I think the only person I left off that people were really clamoring for was probably Green Wade, and that's no disrespect to Green Wade. I'm really a big fan of his stuff. And I can't believe I forgot him in the midst, especially when I was talking about the OGs. But I just felt like the ones I put on that list probably deserved it just a little bit more because Greenway's catalog didn't extend past probably about 4 albums. And then, the whole Nashville Underground stuff. But needless to say, pretty happy with the way that list turned out, both the OGs and the new wave. And so for this particular episode, I just kind of want to give a quick update. July 5th, I released my 6th album in 6 years. I started my journey back into music in 2020 when I released my first Christian album called Blessed. And then 2021, we did The Moment of Clarity, which was actually the 10th anniversary of the Moment of Truth album that I did in 2010 or late 2011, I think it was. And then 2022, we dropped Seasons Change. 2023 we did the Catch a Ghost EP. 2024 we did God Don't Like Ugly, and then here we are in 2025 with No Perfect People Allowed. I have to say this, I intended on this album being about 20 songs deep. This was going to be the first time in probably a decade that I had done an album that was 20 plus songs, right? And what happened was I started recording this album, and then things kind of took a turn in a different direction. So I cut it off at like 9 songs, which probably could have done 10 or 11 with what I had recorded at the moment. But I cut it off at 9 songs and decided I was going to break it up and do 2 albums this year. The other one's going to be called Seeing Red, that comes out in December of 2025. But I had already released a substantial amount of singles for this project because I did intend for it to be 20 songs. But it wasn't, and I'm happy with the way this project turned out because I felt like it gave everyone a glimpse as to where I was at the moment. I like to record music in the moment, so what happens is I record a whole bunch of songs. Some of them tend to sound like duplicates, and then I'll keep the ones I like the most, and then I'll stash the others. Right now, I'm probably sitting on about 30 songs unreleased from the projects that I've done in previous years. May or may not put those out, may do an unreleased project in the future, who knows? But I'm sitting on a whole bunch of songs right now, and I'm already about majority of the way done with Seeing Red, so it'll be an easy second half of the year as I start pushing singles for that project. But we did 9 songs, No Perfect People Allowed. The title track, of course, produced by Eye of the Storm. I've done a lot of work with Eye of the Storm here recently over the past 6 years. He came into play on the Moment of Clarity album. I did a lot of songs with him that I really enjoyed, like Stay, I Need Your Love, Sleeping in the Storm, the remix. Very underrated song that I did there. A couple of those I performed at church. But I've got some stuff from him on this project and also the Seeing Red project that I'm extremely proud of. I'm also planning on doing an album with him exclusively called There's a Storm Coming. I buy a lot of beats from him that are untagged, but his tagline says There's a Storm Coming. So I felt that was an appropriate title for that project with him. So that's going to come out probably 2026, early 2026. So we're going to get through No Perfect People Allowed, of course, and then we're going to get through Seeing Red, and then we're going to drop There's a Storm Coming. Also, Nothing New was another one produced by him. That was the first single we dropped. We actually dropped that the first of the year. It's got a sample heavy in there, and I'm a sucker for the sample beat, so I was instantly drawn to that. I think the name of that track, he called it Big Dream, so I made a play on the beat title by putting that in the chorus line of Nothing New. So one of my favorite tracks I've ever done. The next one, Killer on the Beat, my go-to for anything. And when I need heat, I go to Killer on the Beat. I've known Killer since he was probably 12 years old, I think it was. just a local rapper here in Springfield who has really honed his craft and really made a name for himself in the industry, providing beats for everyone from Lil Flip all the way to Chad Arms, several others. So he provides heat at a very affordable price, and he definitely doesn't charge enough for what he's giving up his beats for us. But buy a lot from him, buy a lot in bulk from him, and set on some. I've got songs I've been sitting on from him for years. But I get in the urge sometimes, and he provides me something I'm needing right at the moment, and I create something like "Watch How I Go Off," which is self-explanatory. It's me going through Jesus or God giving me all the ability, all the words, all the people in front of me that I need. So it's like saying, watch how I go off. You've told me to do these things. You showed me how to do these things. So now watch me go do them. Love that song. It was the second single we dropped, and it did great. Did probably 50,000 that first month we dropped it. So one of my favorite tracks I've ever done. So very happy about that. Armor of God, that's another one. And this was a co-write with my buddy Malcolm Meadows. He gave me some words to put in play on War with Myself off of the God Don't Like Ugly album. And so he has a podcast called AOG Lifestyle, and that's kind of where he was looking for a title track for that. So that's where the Armor of God idea came from. Of course, it's nothing I created. It's in the Bible. It's all biblical. But that chorus line, I remember pitching that to him a while back, and he was loving it, but I didn't have the right beat for it. And I wanted it to be a very energetic track, upbeat, high energy, like chant like. And this beat came into my lap from Killa, of course. And, definitely fit the mold, fit the words perfectly, and created something special with there. What I love about that track is how I start it with an acapella and I end it with an acapella. So Armor God's one of my favorite tracks I've ever done. It's very meaningful and very war chant like. Love that track. Next we got Have Nots, and this was an interlude. I wanted to do something. There was a line that I said that they say he's a Christian rapper. He don't really be going off. And since I feel like I've started my journey into Christian rap, I felt like that's kind of been the label that's been presented to me or hung on me, is the fact that I don't really have it like I used to. Now, I don't question my abilities anymore as a rapper. I did in 2020 because I feel like when I dropped my Blessed project, I had to teach myself how to rap again. I don't feel like that's the case anymore. I'm very confident in my abilities, very confident in my words and my cadence. I had to teach myself how to rap again. So I had to learn how to ride that cadence the way I wanted to. And I feel like I've far exceeded what my expectations were with, Blessed and with Seasons Change and the other projects I've done in the past. So Have Nots was kind of just setting that straight. So Found a Way, that's another one produced by Eye of the Storm. Very happy with how that track turned out. That was the one of the, I think the fourth single. No, that was the last single we dropped for that. It did well, 45,000 I think the first month. Very happy with that track. One of my favorite tracks I've ever done. Broken Chains, that was another single we released. It did very well. Actually, it did probably 60,000 streams the first month. Extremely happy with how that one turned out. Next up, I have The Bottom. That's featuring Booze Hefner and another guy named Twilla G. Twilla G happened to be in the studio with Booze the day that Booze was recording his verse, so he laid what would become the bridge on this project. This is kind of us getting in our fast rap bag. I love when Booze gets in this pocket and starts rapping with this cadence particularly. So really happy how this song turned out. I initially planned on releasing this as a single. I wanted 5 singles before I dropped this album, but again, like I said, close to the end of the process here, it started going in a different direction, so I kind of wanted to shift gears. But The Bottom was actually supposed to be a single before Found a Way was, but decided to go with Found a Way because it broke up the monotony of the hardcore rhymes the hardcore songs I was releasing at the moment. And the last one was Die, which is probably it's probably the best single I've had in a month release. It did almost 70,000, I think, the first month. Couldn't have asked for a better way to end the album with Die. And it's just basically going through the process of me questioning myself and my existence numerous times throughout my life, and how even on my worst days, I feel like I was supposed to be here and supposed to be in the situation that I'm in. very happy with that one. Starting the album with No Perfect People Allowed, and then it would die, I think, was the best way. And then how we got there kind of paints the picture all throughout the album. Again, I wanted this to be 20 songs, but as I started getting into songs like Trying to Go to Heaven, Seeing Red, Climate Change, they just didn't fit what this project was about. So I wanted to shift gears and focus on this next project. So if you haven't already, please check it out. No Perfect People Allowed. I'm never one that pushes the pre-sales or anything like that, because I don't care if I chart or anything like that. I just want people to listen to the music. I want them to appreciate it, and I want them to get something out of it more than anything. So that's what I got, man. Episode 23, No Perfect People Allowed. Just want to give you a life update, kind of what's going on. I'm gonna have some guests on in the next upcoming episodes. One of them I'm really excited about. We're gonna cover the Clipse album because we're huge Clipse fans, and very, very excited about that project and what it has done. Lyricism top notch, production top notch. Really, really excited that we got that project. So that's coming up, probably episode 24, I think it is. We'll be discussing that, and also the B side of that. We'll be ranking our favorite Clipse album. So be on the lookout for that. That's what I got. Episode 23. Probably won't do a B side for this one. We're just gonna let this one ride. But yeah, that's what I got. I'm BJ the DJ. Don't forget to rewind.
Shaking the hate off, homie, it paid off, homie, it paid off.